I'm blowing up on TikTok.
You are the sex symbol we needed.
Finally, I'm something.
Finally.
The public library sex symbol, Rick Vieweg.
Honestly, I'd put that on a shirt.
Public library sex symbol?
Yes.
Perfect. That's merch. Done.
Merch. We need more merch. And by more, I mean some.
Hello?
Hi.
Testing.
Guys, I hope I don't bomb this. This book is weird.
It's going to be perfect. Okay.
I'm Rick.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Tommy.
I'm Sarah, and this is Pagenerd. Are we ready for this?
I'm ready.
Gird your loins. Is everyone okay?
Your loins are the most girded.
You're driving the bus, Sarah.
Okay, so today we are reading Space Opera by Catherynne M. Valente. And I chose this book, and I don't know if the other nerds hate me for it or not, but I chose it because the world feels really heavy right now. The news cycle is awful, and we've also read a couple of heavy books back to back, so I wanted something whimsical and light and ridiculous. And I heard Hank Green talking about this book and basically calling it whimsical and ridiculous and saying that he wished he could write like this. And so that's why I chose Space Opera. And man, I'm a little worried about this episode because this book is it's an acid trip.
Yes, but it is light and whimsical. I think it ticks those boxes.
It is whimsical.
So I found a couple of Catherynne M. Valente's tweets because I also love her. She tweeted, "I don't know how to explain that this is why I wrote Space Opera. Not because it's cute. Because Eurovision is joy from the heart of darkness, shine out from the shadows, singing beauty in the face of fear and hate and hopelessness, and beauty winning. It's the most human thing." So the conceit of this book started as a Twitter dare. I don't know if I told you all that.
No.
Back in 2016, before Trump. So she then wrote it during the beginning of the Trump presidency, which you can kind of feel in the book. But back in 2016, Catherynne M. Valente was live tweeting Eurovision, which she does every year. And for those of you not acquainted, Eurovision is a huge, ridiculous, flamboyant, whimsical pop competition between, I guess it's like all of the European nations, and then like Australia's randomly in there, and like...
Is Canada in there?
No, we're not there. We need to be there.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I think they would invite you.
Hi, it's producer Jay. I'm just popping in with a quick note because they did invite Canada. Canada is going to be in Eurovision in 2027. This happened after we'd recorded the episode. In fact, it happened just a few days before we published the episode. So it's up to me to pop in and say it. Yay, Canada. We're going to be in Eurovision.
Tommy, warm up those pipes.
Get on this.
I don't think they'll invite us.
Tommy's American. They're not going to let you in. Definitely not now.
I'm not honorary Canadian enough.
So anyway, Catherynne M. Valente is live tweeting Eurovision, and one of her fans joked in the comments that she should write a science fiction Eurovision book. And she was like, haha, that's adorable. And then Nava Wolf from Simon & Schuster slid into Catherynne M. Valente's DMs and said that she would buy it. And then Simon & Schuster bought it, like off of this tweet thread.
It's amazing.
Which is the greatest way to get a book deal I've ever heard.
I mean, it lives up to the hype. It is exactly Space Eurovision.
To be fair, this isn't like a random nobody. Like Catherynne M. Valente is a 2-time Hugo Award-winning author and podcaster. She actually won both of her Hugos for a podcast called FS Squeecast, which is a science fiction podcast. And then she's also had 12 nominations for her books. So Catherynne M. Valente is really cool. And also Space Opera, our book for today, has a sequel called Space Oddity, which is a direct Bowie reference. Fun fact, my son, who is 4, is obsessed with David Bowie.
Good.
He has a David Bowie costume. We consistently watch both the Space Oddity music video and the, who's the astronaut? The Canadian, Chris Hadfield's version of Space Oddity. He has a cover that he did from space.
What?
Oh my God, tell me you have to watch this.
Whoa.
It's incredible.
All right, I'll be watching that.
Yeah, it's a really cool music video, and I think I got through his whole like Terrible 2s watching it, basically, every day. The conceit of this book, and I will do my best to walk you through a plot, but we will explain why it is kind of a challenging book to walk you through the plot of. It is Eurovision in space. So the beginning of the book, and I love this quote, and it's on the back of the book, is "Life is stupid, life is beautiful." So The story opens on the idea that the universe is full of life, not because it's rare or special, because it's kind of like just inevitable. Everywhere you look, something is trying to be alive or alive, and that's also chaotic. And this led to the intergalactic sentience wars. So basically, this is just like galaxy-wide World War 37. And at the center of this world is just the question is like, who counts as people and who counts as meat? Which I really liked how she framed that. It's just like, who is sentient and who is not? And all of the different species kind of draw that line differently, and they go into this like massive galactic war. And then afterward, post-war clarity or whatever you want to call it, they realize they can't keep solving the problem through like intergalactic genocide and violence. So they come up with this competition. Kind of like, I kept thinking about Hunger Games while I was reading this, because I'm like, it's a super violent competition in a way. It's a big kind of like pop song competition, similar to Eurovision, but it's intergalactic. So all of the species who have been determined as sentient compete, and then all of the species who are applying to call themselves sentient compete. And whoever comes in last gets their world obliterated. If you are already sentient, like you just get a stern talking to, but if you're applying to be sentient, you get your world obliterated. They go and mine all the resources. They say they try to keep the flora and fauna intact, but they basically blow up your world.
They incinerate the planet.
They bin it, as they call it.
Well, no, they let another thing grow to try again is what they do.
Yeah, they leave enough behind. Like, you can evolve again.
So like the dolphins could try again.
Try a different path.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the creativity of this book, I will say, but I personally have a really hard time getting into random life. There's other books that do this where, like, life, there's a rock life form, and then there's a cloud life form, and there's a light beam life form. I have a really hard time when I read that stuff getting into that. Like, oh, there's what was that movie? Everything All at Once.
Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything Everywhere All at Once. And it was at one of the timelines or one of the multiverses, people developed like hot dog fingers. It's a great movie. I'm not dogging the movie, but like, there's no way. There has to be a reason for evolution to take out that way. Even with statistics on your side, there has to be a reason. And I'm going to get like, okay, thematically, the random light forms being a cloud is fun. The book is like, be who you are. I think thematically it fits, but technically I feel like it's hard for me to get into it because
it's impossible.
Carbon as a base element for a life form, carbon's very versatile. It can be stretched into things. It can bond with things. And out of our hydrogen carbon based life form, we get like things like amino acids, proteins, we get fat, we get carbs. So we get all this stuff that like if you look at our structures as people, human beings in biology, we're just like a tangle of things. We're just like strands of shit that got messed up together. And like the things that can organize the tangles are the things that evolve. So like the problem I have with something like a rock monster is like rocks can't, like they kind of just store energy and that's it. They're not like liquid. They're not fluid. So how would a rock become a sentient being? Yeah, I might give you a cloud. I don't know a lot about cloud dynamics.
I think in this one, you'd have to go so far back to say that, like, even the way that things evolve is totally different.
Yeah. You're hitting on something interesting in this book. The book opens with a, 5-line sentence. All the sentences in this book are 5 lines long. About Enrico Fermi and what's called the Fermi paradox, which very briefly is the universe is vast, right? There's hundreds of billions of galaxies. Each galaxy has hundreds of billions of stars. There have to be more sort of Earth-like planets. We call it like the Goldilocks zone, where it's the right temperature, the right amount of sunshine for life to sort of develop as we know it. There's got to be a lot of these. Also, it's been around for a long time, right? Okay, well, we evolved, so it's clearly possible. Where is everybody? Well, how come no one else has evolved? And if they have, how come they haven't made contact? And like the conceit of this book, which I love, is like, oh no, they're out there. Like we haven't discovered them yet, but they're out there. And if you think about the vast number of ways that, things could evolve, let's take that to like the extreme. And so she does, right? And Andrew, to your point, like there's some species you'd recognize. There's like a virus. And then there's others that are like, a sentient moonbeam.
That fucks. We'll get into that.
The moonbeam fucks.
Oh yes, they all fuck. The moonbeam does fuck. And then leaves. But like, I don't even care about the science of that, man. I love what she's trying there. I do think it's fun to think about, like, so we talk about this idea of path dependency, right? Evolution is inherently path dependent. You could not evolve humans again in their current format. They would like miss the appendix or something, and they'd have, 7 fingers, not 5. There'd be something different, right? Because there's this weird set of specific path dependencies that got you here. And she's just saying, well, there's a path dependency on every one of these planets. Where does it end up? And it could end up in some pretty weird shit. Did you know there's a snail out there that has a 1 meter long penis? It's a snail. Comes out of its cheek.
How big is the snail?
It's a snail size.
What?
It just like turns all of its energy into making a penis off of its cheek.
Why is the penis that big?
I don't know.
What is it
Because
for?
of evolution. So like the point is, that's just here on Earth we have that. Could there be some weird shit out there? Yes. And I kind of love that about the book.
There's actually a slug species in this book called the Andvari. They're furry armored slugs.
An armored slug is literally a snail.
Yeah. Their recreational drug of choice is pain and fear. So like they're war slugs that eat and kill things. And they lost the 38th Grand Prix, the competition that Sarah mentioned earlier, and then ate half the judges and tried to call them devouring the sounds of them devouring the judges. They tried to call that their song.
It sounds like their penises are really small.
Our slugs have bigger penises than their slugs, is what I'm hearing.
Our slugs have bigger penises than our current leaders. Anyway.
They're a meter long.
Yeah, that's too long. I'm proud of them, though, in a way. Like, good for you.
Good for you.
I hope you use it well.
They like dangle. So they're on like a tree branch, and the 2 penises, I think there's 2 involved somehow. I don't know. They dangle down and get intertwined, and they're just like these dangly ropes.
Okay, so this leads me perfectly to, so there are 16 rules to this competition. I will not detail all of them, but I wrote, so the competition happens once a year. All species currently accepted as sentient must compete. This is a direct quote from the book. All species applying for recognition as intelligent, self-aware, in brackets, not a huge barrel of dicks, and generally worth the time it takes to get to their shitty planet, wherever that may be, must compete. That's also a short sentence for this book.
And only one parenthetical.
The winning species has to pick up the bar tab for the event. And if an applicant species loses, world genocide, resource recycling happens. It's better than war, but it's still an intensely hilarious, whimsical, violent thing.
Okay, I learned this from the acknowledgments in the back of the book, but she was sort of describing Eurovision, which started in the 50s, as a similar, like, hey, Europe needs something to unite it, right? We think of Europe, I think of Europe today as kind of like Europe, capital E, Europe. But, that's pretty new, and they fought each other a lot. And this early, like, hey, we need an EU. Now they have a currency, all this. We need something that pulls us together culturally, other than just soccer. And so it's Eurovision. And she's got the same thing. We're all going to fight over, are we meat or are we sentient? And they realized, like, that was pointless. But I think a big fear is when new worlds emerge into the solar system or the universe that is known, are they going to be assholes or not? And they decide that the way to see if you're going to be an asshole is to make you participate in Eurovision. And if you're an asshole, you're going to lose. And they'll eradicate you before you eradicate them.
And I love that they do it through art. Like, can you make art? And how do we judge your art? Okay, so we have the setup of what's going to happen. We're going to do a big intergalactic Eurovision. Now we meet Decibel Jones, who is going to be one of our stars. He's a former glam rock frontman. I very much was picturing, like, if Bowie, like, drank a lot of beer in his, like, later midlife and, like, didn't have a lot of friends, just like if he got uncool later. He used to be the frontman of the band Decibel Jones and the Absolute Zeros. They had a few really huge hits, but their drummer Mira died, and then that kind of collapsed the relationships. And it's kind of a thread, this like thread of grief and this like regret is through the book. So they're kind of irrelevant now, but they're about to be very relevant. So an alien life form that was my favorite part of the book, called the Eska, projects itself into every human's living room. one night. It's described as a beautiful blue flamingo crossed with an anglerfish that has like big doughy eyes. And eventually somebody fucks it. So like it's got to be kind of hot, I guess.
It doesn't take much to get people horny in this book.
No, not at all. So it appears kind of suddenly globally in every living room to deliver this message of the Grand Prix. So it tells us that Earth has been entered into the intergalactic Grand Prix, a competition to determine if we're sentient. We don't have to win. We just have to not come in last. It has this like really cool, super empathetic way of communicating where it can take on the voice of someone that you would respond kindly to from your psyche. It calls itself a nonsensical feelings flute, which is like one of my favorite descriptors of anything ever. You kind of get all of these different reactions. Like you get the reaction from the Prime Minister of the UK and from the Dalai Lama and like random people. Everyone is kind of saying like, well, of course we're sentient. And so I want to read like a chunk of the book. It was so great. So this is the Eska, the flamingo feelings flute, telling us that we are probably not sentient. So it said, Mr. Rogers notwithstanding, you're a mess. I mean, honestly, you just made the attunement for the survival of your species and you didn't mention a single female, except presumably half of the condors. I don't know why you would even bring up the internet. The xeno-intelligence officer responsible for evaluating your digital communications required invasive emergency therapy after 1 hour's exposure. One glance at that thing is the strongest possible argument against the sentience of humanity. I wouldn't draw attention to it if I were you. But in a clinch, you lot would rather watch someone suffer untold horrors than watch them so much as enjoy a cool drink if you don't have two of your own, and yours have cherries in them, as well as more ice and little paper umbrellas. And even then, most of you would still prefer to take theirs and have three. It's not the behavior of a sentient race. It's the behavior of wild animals.
Oops.
We could all look at the internet less.
Also, this quote really embodies the sentence structure of this novel.
It was hard for me to breathe.
There's very few periods in what Sarah just said. It's like one giant sentence that's kind of amalgamated with all these nouns. And in many ways, the book's like freneticism is extremely fun. I think that's one of the positives. But then like when you get into the chapters that you're not as interested in, it kind of turns on you a little bit. You're like, oh, can we wrap this up and move on to the plot?
I had the same experience in terms of there were times I really loved I'm jealous that she can write this way. I think I do not know how she does it. The probably half the book is just like random world building descriptions of all these crazy places and their crazy species and the history of this intergalactic war. And then you get plot pieces. And when it got to the plot, I was like, move it along. I was entertained before, which is funny because I think, Andrew, you were like, why are we talking so much? There's not much plot.
Yeah.
I would find myself like caught up in her delightful prose. Like it's a geniusly beautifully written book. I understand why Hank Green, said he wishes he wrote it because I kind of wish I wrote it too. But I did find like I would get kind of lost. And I need like a thread. I need you to like breadcrumb me through with a little bit of plot because I'll feel like I'm missing something. And I listened to Catherynne M Valente speak on a podcast about this. And she said like it was really hard for people who don't watch Eurovision to like this book because like it's the structure of Eurovision. Like she wrote it in the structure of Eurovision where these like random diatribes about these like different places. And she's like, if you watch Eurovision, like I wrote it like that. So if you're not a Eurovision fan, you won't get it. But if you are, you'll totally see what I'm doing. And I'm like, damn it. So I tried to watch some Eurovision, but I don't think I watched enough to fully get it.
That's so cool.
But I watched enough to know that Lithuania is fucking great at Eurovision.
They take it very seriously.
The one that I watched, he was fully covered head to toe, a bald man in like chrome glitter, like chrome silver glitter, wearing a huge giant Dracula cape.
What?
With an incredible voice. Absolutely fucking up a pop song.
Oh, okay. So this is on brand for this book of just like
fully
glitter everywhere.
Well, it's a spectacle.
Okay. Like fabulous spectacle. Okay.
Yeah.
But I got lost for sure. But like kind of delightfully lost. Like I felt like I had taken mushrooms and was like just reading a book and there's no plot, which is why I when I went back to try to outline it, I was like, God, this is a hard gig. I was trying to give myself an easy gig and I didn't.
So far, the plot we know is humanity is just sort of plodding along. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this flamingo with like a dangly bit like an anglerfish appears to everyone all at once and is like, surprise, you're not the only one. And also, if you don't not lose this singing competition, we're going to eradicate your planet. And everybody's like, cool. Oh, and also it's speaking in a voice that it thinks you will enjoy. So like your mom or something.
Apparently a lot of people chose like waitresses and bartenders that they had really liked, which I love when like a Southern woman calls me honey.
Oh, me too.
At a restaurant. So like I get it. That's so comforting. So apparently like the Eska have also, they won the Sentience Wars last year. So they're newly sentient and they've been tasked with like kind of being our guide through this process. And they have drafted who they think would win, like who they think would do really well in the competition. And some of their choices, Yoko Ono, Insane Clown Posse, Bjork, the Spice Girls, RuPaul, Donna Summer, Nicki Minaj, Courtney Love, Skrillex. And in this version of the world, all those people are dead, or like the Insane Clown Posse are apparently very paralyzed. Like everyone is kind of out. And then the last on the list is Decibel Jones and the Magnetic Zeros. Another
unfortunate hero in the Pagenerd multiverse.
Doesn't want to do it. Again, very Project Hail Mary is like, I'm not really into this.
And yeah, so the band, this guy blew up, super famous glam rock band. They all lived exactly the life you would live as a rock star. They had a big falling out. Mira is dead, the sort of designated adult, I think you would say. And then also drummer. She's dead. They had a falling out. The other backup, the other member of the Absolute Zeros, they call him an English blokeman. That's one word. He's just sort of like a normal dude living somewhere in the outskirts of London.
He can't be that normal. His name is Urt Saint Ultraviolet.
I don't know if that's really his name or if that's more of a stage situation, but that is what he's called.
I think they do like reveal his real name and it's something like very plain. That's like definitely a stage name.
Yeah, you're right.
Just like Decibel Jones is not his real name, obviously. That'd be cool. So he's sort of, washed up rock star, and they're very much the unlikely hero, but, here we are. We think they'll be great.
Yeah.
Who did you picture in that role?
Andrew's going to say Paul Giamatti again.
I'm like, I don't know the actor's name. The character Milo in 24, this is a 20-year-old show. There's a character named Milo. He's like a dark-haired guy, kind of tall. I pictured him, but with like a long hair, curly hair kind of situation. Okay. So if anyone's following along out there, Milo from 24 with really long hair. That's who I pictured.
I can't. All right. I had Freddie Mercury, but specifically the version from the movie that was a few years old, which was Rami Malek.
I pictured someone older. I pictured like a boomer.
Okay, imagine Freddie Mercury, but he lived until now.
Okay, that could work.
He's like Kiss levels of old. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, I did picture like a beer gut and long hair.
I feel like if you live this version of hard, you don't drink like beer. Although there was beer. There was a lot of rosé.
Yeah, no, they do drink. And there's like a whole alien bartender situation that is a problem. There's like blood tubes and stuff that goes on later.
One of the species I wanted to call out too before we moved on was the Exco was talking about was the Alunizar. So they're like apparently like the first sentient race in the galaxy first. And there's a 2-page diatribe about them.
Hard to outline.
So they're described as soft, undulating tubes of molten Venetian glass with round cilia fringed siphons at each end of them, serving as mouth, nose, face, eyes, and jet propulsion system. So I guess they blow out one of the holes.
You don't need a butt to fart.
The other description is they were described as overgrown painted goiters and blobby, overgrown stained glass sea squirts. That's like the villain species in this book that's like out to get us as newbies. They evolved first because they grew up next to a series of wormholes that gave them like, imagine their planet being at like the best place evolutionarily to take advantage of space flight.
Also, wormholes are like public transportation basically in this
and they're sentient
world.
Yeah, wormholes are a species.
They're a species.
They're like an earthworm.
Yeah, and their language is described as entirely made of umlauts, which is those little those little dots above letters in German for some reason. It's all umlauts.
Don't they feed on regret or turmoil or something?
Yeah, they feed on regret.
Yep.
So they just like extend through the known universe, seeking out clouds of regret. There's a lot of this weird, just like we're gonna throw some words in. So yeah, they feed on clouds of regret, and the species gets lucky. By the way, this is a real thing about the Fermi paradox we talked about. If there's all these chances for life to form, like where are they? What if they all formed a long ways away and we're just like kind of a backwater? The whole "you're not special" thesis of planetary life. Yeah, this species got lucky, right? They happen to be on like the Europe of the galactic scale of just like we've got access to the right stuff, and so we're going to dominate other species when we come across them.
Catherynne M. Valente's imagination is absolutely bananas.
Yes.
Like, you're kind of, listener, if you haven't read this book, we're not really going to spoil that much. Like, the very end will spoil it.
This is not a plot book.
It's really about the journey.
It is a fantastical journey, though.
Yes.
Like, if you can handle the fact that you have no idea what's going on for like a good chunk of the middle section of the book, it's great.
Can I stop and rant a second?
Always, please. This is the space.
I've been a part of a few book clubs because I'm a fucking nerd, okay? And the least interesting thing often about books is the plot. Not always, but a lot of times. Like, if you go to a book club, if you just go to a book club and like you look around the room, you could spot the people that are just going to like rehash, like, what did you think of this book? And they're just going to rehash the plot. This thing happened. And then this thing happened. And then this thing happened. But like, what's your interpretation of it? Why did it happen? Why is it important to the themes? Did you like it? Did you not like it? You know, like, so I will say, +1, Sarah, this book, like, impossible to spoil. It's about the journey, not the destination. I think that's important. But I think that's true of all the books and something that we're trying to do here at Pagenerd, right? It's like, you might know what happens in the plot, but how they get there, the words, the pacing, how you interpret those things differently than us, that's part of the fun of reading, in my opinion. Like that's the big joy of reading that I get from reading, is seeing my interpretation versus Sarah's interpretation and Rick, and seeing Tommy picture Ziggy Stardust as Murderbot, which is patently insane, but
stand by it.
Good for you, bud.
But also based on the context of your life, you pull different things out of the book, right? So that's why it's worthwhile to talk about. Because some of the science background would pull out the science things from it. Some of the literary background is going to pull out something else. So talking about those two different things, you all get different stuff out of it.
And let me tell you what I got out of this book. Nihilism. I think this book is nihilistic as hell. There's this theme all through this book of just like, we're going to do grand things for dumb reasons. And, you know, this like, it doesn't really matter. We're all going to eradicate each other. You know, there's all these wars. Let's just sing. I actually didn't know that it was written in the hellscape that was 2016 that we all wish we could go back to.
What a peaceful hellscape it was.
Yeah. You know, that just like, this is shit. Let's dance is a reaction.
Literally, that's what I love about it. Oh, darn. Hold, please.
Sarah then spent several minutes looking for the quote that she needed.
Page 144.
Thank you.
The opposite of fascism is theater.
Yes. Okay, here it is.
I had it too.
Oh, I love this. I felt like I was the only one who understood that the only wall we could ever build against what's going on was the glitter and the shine and the synth and the knowing grin that never stops knowing. The show. Because the opposite of fascism isn't anarchy, it's theater. And when the world is fucked, you go to the theater. You go to the shine. And when the bad man come, all that's left to do is sing them down. You didn't get it. I didn't think you understood. You can't sing a dirge to the Reaper. He's already heard them all. You got to slaughter him with joy and a beat like the best of all possible shags. And because somehow my Nan's cartoons always had it right, and that the Care Bear stare is the most powerful force in the world. And I wanted to shine, and you wanted to scream, and we just failed. We failed at both and neither because of me. That's Decibel Jones trying to explain to Urt why the band broke up, because he and Mira wanted to do big, heavy things, and Decibel Jones thought that the only way to combat the heaviness was with the glitter, which I absolutely fucking love. And that's what Catherynne M. Valente did with this book. Like, yes. Published it in 2017, 2018?
2018. Copyright 2018. Yeah. So quaint that we were like, my God, the world is going to shit. It just kept going. And I think it's a good time to read this book.
Pagenerd likes to use some of our ad space to shout out libraries and indie bookstores that we love. And I am recording this the day after the Pride Parade in Toronto. And this is space opera. This is a wonderful queer celebration book. And so we want to do a wonderful queer celebration shout out to Glad Day. Glad Day is a bookstore in Toronto. They're the world's oldest 2S LGBTQIA bookstore and the second oldest LGBTQ organization in Canada. They've been around since the 70s. And in the pandemic, they had to leave their Church Street location where I have been for drag brunches and queer author launches. So they are currently in a small location on Queen West in Toronto at 32 Liscar, but they are fundraising to find a new, bigger venue so they can get back to hosting drag brunch and queer author book launches and all of the wonderful things in the beautiful space that they so deserve. So if you want to support our friends at Glad Day, you can go to gladday.ca. Okay, so what's happening next?
They're growing a spaceship.
The flamingo fish came and said, we're going to eradicate you. And then they went and they got Decibel Jones and Ort, his bandmate, and their cat. And now they're on a ship
called Cake in the Rain.
Yes, the ship's name is Cake in the Rain. They're now on the ship and they go to somewhere through a wormhole.
I pictured the ship as like a giant aquarium. It has like bioluminescent coral and jellyfish and
like a rock in an aquarium.
Yeah. And the band is joined by Capo, who is Ort's cat, who is now able to talk. They like give the cat the ability to talk. It's great.
They have this cute thing where they put some sort of like fungus on your larynx that basically turns it into like a universal translator. And they're like, we dosed the cat too.
And the cat is, of course, like immediately sort of evil.
Yeah. Which tracks, I think.
On the ship, we meet the Keshet, which are giant red pandas, because apparently Catherynne M. Valente just loves red pandas. And so it's a species of giant red pandas who can, it's kind of like they're Doctor Strange pandas. Like they can see all of everything that has happened and everything that will happen.
Yeah, they kind of live in this version of the multiverse. They can see all through time and all the different permutations of how events could play out. And they can it sounds like kind of influence that.
Well, it's not time travel. It's dark matter travel. I know, sorry, we're back to that. But that whole thing, remember, with like forking universes and the multiverse. And in that book, in Blake Crouch's book, the main character goes into the box and comes out in a different multiverse. Here, the little red panda can just like flit between them at will and sort of observe multiple different potential realities.
And kind of always is, whether or not it wants to.
Yeah, I don't think it's voluntary.
It feels a little schizophrenic. Yeah, they have a hard time like tying to one.
By the way, my favorite species / character in the entire book was, I don't know how to say the name. It's O, uppercase O with an umlaut, lowercase O with an umlaut. So don't even know how to say it. My favorite character by far.
Let's just call it Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
It is challenging to have an Ort and an Ooh.
So Ooh is the Keshet, is that right?
Ooh is the one that's with them on the spaceship.
Okay. The Keshet is the species name.
Yes.
It's a red panda.
The Ooh is the individual
umlaut. Little O umlaut.
red panda on the spaceship with them. It's easy to get lost.
And the species, the Keshet, are really integral to like interplanetary travel because spaceships take a lot of energy, and all of the spaceships are powered by what they call paradoxes. They describe it like there's a room where some dude's having sex with his own grandmother to like create a paradox of like he's birthing himself essentially, or and that energy, that paradox collapses a timeline, which creates an immense energy.
You walk past it and they call it the engine room, and it's just two people having sex.
Two people fucking in a bed.
Right.
Yeah, it's strange. Never in a million years have I read something so creative of species.
I found like reading it challenging. Humans read in shapes, and basically the Keshet, like Catherynne M. Valente like shoves a bunch of words together, and that's how they talk.
A thing it would say is way, way far more as one word. And when it's done in the book, it's trying out all of those different words in different parallel universes before like resolving to one. And so the way it often works is like the second to last word is almost like a kind of lets the truth out. You know, like, ooh, probably shouldn't go that far on this word. And then they say something a little blander last.
So they basically land on this planet Litost,
Litost,
where the competition starts. They talk a lot about being in a Hilton conference room, because basically what has happened is, because humans are the new species, they've tried to create an environment that the humans feel comfortable in. So they've created like a really shitty conference for them to be at.
Also, noticeably, they traveled for like 2 weeks, and Ort and Decibel tried to come up with a new song and just like didn't make any progress at all.
No.
So they're going in with nothing prepared.
At one point, they try to like smash all the best songs in human history together, and like it doesn't work.
And also, by the time they get there, I think Decibel's having a relationship with the flamingo, and Ort's like having a relationship with the ooh, kind of.
They're all fucking interspecially.
Oh, they are.
That's a key plot point at the end.
I didn't pick up on.
I almost forgot that, but then at the end, which we'll get to, like, how come Decibel's pregnant? Because he's been fucking the flamingo.
Oh,
It's so subtle. Like she doesn't.
Yeah.
There's like definitely sex scenes later on with different alien species, but like the one with the Esca with Decibel is mostly just they're laying in bed together, and then they start talking about how it's not a relationship. It was one of those like, it's, this is not how we do things. We would do like a horde. There would be a lot of you. If there were more of you, maybe, but like there's just one. So this is just kind of a fun thing we're doing.
Oh yeah, there's like 5.5 genders or something, and so they're like, well, we can't have sex. There's only 2 of us.
Well, and they were also like, you humans and your binary bullshit, like, you're hilarious. What a prudish douchebag little species you are. And I was like, that's great. It's true.
Please call us out.
And like everyone tries to sabotage each other on here, which is kind of hard to follow because so much is happening and there are so many adjectives. But I think a sentient rosebush tries to laser them to death when they arrive.
There's an explanation for that. It's the snails that like feed on like murder or something. When they killed the judges, and the judges were like, well, this can't happen in the future. So they decided that you're not allowed to kill each other during the show, but there's this sort of melee period beforehand where like all bets are off.
pre-drinks is purge.
Kind of.
Decibel's like, this can't be allowed. And then the Esca's like, yep, totally allowed.
So we mentioned Mira, the third member of the Absolute Zeros, passed away, but the reason why Ort, Saint Ultraviolet, and Decibel Jones are arguing is because she asked Decibel to marry her, and he laughed.
Yeah.
So she went for like to cool off in the car to cool off, and got into an accident and died. So Ort still harbors a lot of resentment towards Decibel, and I think Decibel obviously he's kind of like a man child, so he feels it, but he's quite flippant. He's not like, he doesn't resolve his emotions maturely.
He's trying to like live above the guilt.
And I took it as like it was like a self-protection thing from fascism. Like they were basically like ICE agents that were going to be deporting people.
Let's get married so we look like a normal couple so we don't get picked up. And that was the intention of it.
And then he laughed at her.
Yeah, there's this undercurrent of immigration worries. They're English. And so my guess is it's like Brexit period, where they're also kind of taking a turn. And that was 2016, right? That was right before Trump was elected. But there's definitely this sense of like, she's not just talking about immigration, because it clearly breaks her heart. But the whole time, Decibel he's in that toxic cycle where he just like can't take anything seriously. He's a fuck up, so he'll continue to be a fuck up.
That's definitely the vibe that I got. Yeah.
We get a lot of these protagonists in these books of like these like kind of joker, like weirdly talented at one thing, but like kind of an asshole joker at the rest of the being an adult part of life.
One of my favorite parts in the whole book is when I think Decibel admits that the reason, so the song they're trying to write, instead of writing lyrics, they just steal the best lyrics they can think of, or the best like bit of poetry from across humanity. And it's this weird mashup, which I guess in this book is fine. But he admits that he did that because he didn't want to be the one that writes the song that is bad. So he's going to kind of pass the buck.
He does ask Ooh at one point, like the red time-traveling panda, like, is there a universe where I didn't fuck it all up? And Ooh basically, without saying yes, says like, yeah.
If we learned anything about our multi-dimensional world, it's that all of the things happened. So of course there's a version where he didn't fuck it up.
So during the pre-drink melee purge, there's one species I really liked. There's 2 species I really liked. But I think I'll let Tommy maybe speak about 3-2-1 because has a Microsoft tie-in.
Tommy has to talk about the 3-2-1.
But the one I want to talk about is the Vorpret, because this is we mentioned the virus earlier. So like the Vorpret are a species that's entirely comprised of a viral outbreak. They called it the most successful viral outbreak in history, where the entire planet is just like deconstructing, decomposing matter that is reanimated. So it's like zombies, essentially. The virus infects someone. So during the pre-drinks, one of them tries to bite Decibel Jones during the pre-drinks to like turn his body into like a puppet for the species, the Vorpret.
Oh, they're not allowed to do that normally because during the are we sentient wars, they basically were like, look, first of all, they vaccinated everybody against this thing. And then they were like, you can't do that. But then there was this weird thing where some bodies would just like voluntarily get infected and like offer themselves as a host. And there became like a thriving real estate market on who wants to be infected by the sentient host.
I don't know why anyone would want to sign up for that, because they're described as like your body turns into a shambling, rotting, dripping pus cake.
Oh, I interpret it as like, well, you're going to die anyway. And so you might as well get some like money for your family.
Oh, that's worse. That's late stage capitalism, virus, zombie real estate. Ugh.
The sentences that are coming out of us during this episode are wild.
I feel like we think we're in late stage capitalism, Sarah, but then we like read this book, you're like, oh, there's a later stage.
That's late.
There's a lot more later to go.
One of the things that I loved about it is like she talks about how the Vorpret are actually really good at gentrifying everything, and so there's like really good coffee on their planet.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Right? Yeah, they're like parasitic viruses, but they do have like a nice walkable neighborhood and a trendy coffee shop, and so people let them stick around.
Tommy, you have to tell us about the 3-2-1.
Oh my god. Okay, 3-2-1 are like the sentient computer thing. It's unclear what physical form the AI takes, but they are like the sentient AI species out there in the universe. So again, they want to appear comforting to Decibel Jones as the new guy. And we sort of mentioned this. There's this pre-drinks that happens. And keep in mind, if you kill a species like a competitor, well, they come in last. So there's no way you can come in last. If you kill at least one species, you're good, right? And so there's a lot of death. Well, the 3-2-1, the computer AI, the sentient AI, is like a protector for Decibel Jones, and he appears as Clippy.
Microsoft's old like.
It's just not go over well.
Yeah, because there's this thing where they have information about humans, but it's all circa like 1996. Like the Spice Girls are hot, and I don't recall Clippy ever not being a joke, but Clippy was apparently like the helpful. If you want to be a helpful computer, you're Clippy.
I remember when it came out in Microsoft Word, whatever it was, Word 95 or Word 98, you got this little animated paperclip, and he would like ride on a Post-it skateboard, and he would like help you write documents.
It looks like you're trying to print something. They're not proud of that over at Microsoft.
It was cool as hell. You could even pick different ones. I had like a little cat one instead of Clippy. It wasn't any more helpful, but it was a little cat. That was pretty cool.
It was in no way helpful, and it was a little overbearing. And so, as is the 3-2-1, there's this recurring theme of Clippy is a cunt.
Yeah, Ort absolutely hates Clippy.
Sarah's looking for the quote. I guarantee it.
I have two things that I must read about Clippy the cunt. Because we can. Because we are not Clippy. We are the 3-2-1. And we really, really tried to be user-friendly for you, you ungrateful analog typists. Ort fixed the alien paperclip with a glare of bottomless black nihilism. Clippy, he growled with true menace, is a cunt. It makes me so happy. And then the last part that they say it is, oh God, for the whole of us, from Nefertiti and Homer and Aquinas and Beau Brummel and Mary Curie all the way down to Nico and, guys, I'm messing this up, Sequoia? And me, I'm not cut out to be the last man on earth. I'm just an ordinary guy. I can't. I'm not fucking Kane. I'm not the first bloke to kill an alien, not even Clippy. And Clippy is a cunt.
Shut up, Clippy.
It's
No one
great.
asked you.
It's
That's
so
in there,
great.
too. It's so good.
See you next Tuesday. That's good.
So there's all these weird species. Effectively, the plot happens in the pre-party. There's a bit of a, the Temptations of Christ thing going on. I doubt that. I don't know. Maybe that's intentional. So independently, Ort and Decibel are tempted essentially with like, are you willing to have this thing be thrown? To like throw the contest. Some species, I forget who, offers to trade India with this British man in order to save humanity. Which, because, you know, the aliens have all like read all of human history and they're like, the Brits will definitely trade India. And there's some great line where Decibel's like, I'm like basically the first like important English person to have never considered India my business.
It's a really good line.
It's a good line. And so he sort of passes that test because he's not willing to sell out India in order to survive. They also point out that I think Decibel is talking about like, it's pretty barbaric what you guys are doing. Like you're going to eradicate us. And they start mentioning all the species that humans have eradicated, starting with the lion. And you're like, oh, hey, wait a minute.
Damn, they got us.
Yeah, they think we're pretty shitty. They're like, the dodos probably wouldn't say much about you.
They also, because they think Capo, the cat, is one of us. Like they don't distinguish between Decibel Jones and Ort.
This is the third temptation.
They tempt the cat, and the cat's like, yeah, go for it. Here, have it. Take whatever you want. Why do I care about these humans?
Immediately, the cat's like, I don't give a shit about them. You can have India.
I'm not asking for anything in exchange. You can just like have it.
Yeah, take England while you're at it. Why not?
Well, because of that, they realize that like if the cats aren't complacent, they will like reach out and be very destructive in the universe. They're like, okay, we got to let humans be the sentient race and not cats.
The only thing preventing you from taking over the universe is your own laziness.
That's literally what they say.
Yeah.
There's also temptation in the sexy party variety.
Oh, yes. Okay, so now we're going to have a sexy party. It's weird.
Decibel is totally in for this kind of temptation. He has sort of an interesting three-way with a described as swaggeringly masculine moonbeam and Smargardi, which is a 9-foot-tall kind of like skeleton situation. And my favorite is that immediately the moonbeam like ghosts.
The moonbeam like finishes early and just takes off. Like it gets everything that it needs out of it and then pieces out.
Yeah. So the Smargargan, this is like the sex scene that we have with this like 9-foot-tall skeleton situation. They apparently have sex by brushing each other's hair. I guess telling each other vulnerable things, but that's not really what they mean. So when Decibel starts talking and they're like, ew, yours are like on the inside, and then like kind of whips out a, I guess, alien penis.
It comes a feeling crystal.
Yeah, and then ejaculates its feelings, its deepest, darkest feelings is like a black blob.
In the form of like a little like figurine.
Yeah. And then he gets to take it home as like a
souvenir.
Yeah,
yes.
Like a little
trophy
souvenir.
shelf.
Also, I thought that Decibel then had sex with it because he talks about like the skeleton thing has like a buttery chest. And so I was like, does Decibel have sex with the skeleton's buttery chest? That's kind of what I took from it.
Well, I mean, okay, so we kind of mentioned earlier there's the unkillable facts. It's very much Hitchhiker's Guide style, like here's some facts about the universe. And there's this like 1.5-page long fact that is basically everything tries to fuck everything. And that like kind of go with it and whatever that species is into, like do your best. So it would not surprise me if after the like hair brushing and feeling sharing, you know, they also like bone the old fashioned way.
In that fact, it says, in the end, there is no atom in the galaxy, but that someone hasn't tried to fuck it.
Which is true.
The problem is he gave into the temptation of fucking the skeleton, and the skeleton steals his voice, Little Mermaid style.
I had not even thought about Little Mermaid. Oh my God. Yeah. Did they actually use the hairbrush?
Oh my God, I forgot about that part of the Little Mermaid.
She doesn't use the hairbrush to make her voice, but like she sings into a hairbrush. There's an homage there.
Well, also a bunch of the aliens are called Ursula. Like there's stuff going on.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole species called Ursula.
Oh my God. Catherynne, if you're out there, we need to chat.
This is the temptation that comes before the fall, I guess, because now his voice has been stolen by one of the other alien competition folks. Like it doesn't come back, which is, there's no like saving it right before the performance or something that happens. It's just like no voice.
And then boom, the next page, they're going to do it. Go for it.
Just like Ort doesn't know that Decibel's voice is gone.
Yeah, he's just being, well, how would he tell him, Sarah? He doesn't have a voice.
This book is insane in some of the best ways. And also you can probably tell by our meandering that it is meandering and we're doing the exact thing that the book does.
Listening to this is going to give you a taste.
One of the things that I, like when I first started reading this book, I was probably in chapter 3. It kind of unlocked this thing inside me where I'm like, oh, I can just write however I want.
Yeah.
Like she's been so successful. She has like dozens of books. She's a New York Times bestselling author. She's, won a bunch of awards. And I'm like, and she did that by being like so uniquely her. And I was like, that's so fucking cool. I love that I know that. And that she's like given me permission to like be a little bit zany.
If you're not trying to hurt other people, it's awesome to be yourself.
We go to the climax.
All right, bring us home. Final performance.
Okay. So we're getting on stage, final performance. He has no voice.
And they've prepared nothing.
They've prepared nothing.
They didn't write a song, which is good because he can't sing.
They go on, he can't sing. So Ort starts to panic and is like, my daughters are going to die. The earth is going to burn. Like, Decibel's fucking this up. And he starts to sing I Came Upon a Midnight Clear, the Christmas song. And he sings that.
Well, because his childhood rendition of this in some random, school play situation became like a famous bootleg across the universe.
Yes. Okay. I didn't tie that back together.
So he's like, I don't know what to do. I'll just do that.
And so it works until he kind of runs out of Christmas songs. And then Decibel, through his mouth, gives birth to a tiny Eska, like a tiny little flamingo bird anglerfish.
Flamingo bird.
And immediately names it Marvin, which I also loved. It was like, that's its name. So I don't actually, in my head, I was like, did he get his voice stolen? Or did he just have this thing in his throat? Was he just pregnant with the Eska bird? But I do think the 9-foot-tall skeleton thing was like, sorry, had to do it. So.
Oh, no, it was there. And then it sort of, they sort of described like the shock of birth.
Brought his voice back.
Scraped whatever problem off his vocal cords.
And so he says he screams Yoko Ono style, everything just gets so fucked up sometimes. And like, this is the performance. The Came Upon a Midnight Clear, giving birth to this bird flamingo thing. Everything gets so fucked up sometimes. He collapses on stage, and then the ghost or paradox of Mira appears, summoned by...
goes to go get Mira, right?
Yeah, goes to get Mira. And it kind of bends the rules one last time. And then so we get this like, I don't know. I was picturing, what's the movie with the guy who has to fight all of the evil exes?
Scott Pilgrim.
I like pictured so much Scott Pilgrim through this. And like, I just pictured the like, 1, 2, 3. And like Mira's there. And then they sing and she revives the band's spirit. And then they, with the help of the alien child Marvin, find their voice. The song isn't perfect, but it's kind of like raw and desperate and beautiful and a plea for survival.
But also, don't the wormholes show up?
Yeah, so there's a throughput here where they're on Latost, which is near the Alunazar homeworld, which is near the wormholes. The wormholes, who are attracted to regret, nearby, open their mouths and start singing as well. Because I guess with Mira and Decibel, the regret and
so much regret.
Yeah, there's so much regret
That's
there that I think thematically, like the wormholes join in, and that's like adds to the performance.
See, I read this twice and didn't fully pick up on the wormhole thing.
There's a lot going on in this book.
I did not pick up that the bird and Decibel were going at it. So when the baby bird was born, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
It's like immaculate conception to bird with an anglerfish head.
They're pulling Mira from a timeline. I'm just like, the plot made no sense. Like I like the climax. I thought was really, really fun, but I was like, I'll just go with it.
Fun is the only way to describe it. Like it was just one thing after another, like just mounting incredulity.
And the way, at least I found out that they didn't win, but they didn't lose, is someone back home, they're all watching this at pubs, and someone in Scotland goes outside and kisses the grass. And so I'm like, they didn't lose. Great. Humanity survives.
Didn't win, didn't lose. It's fine.
Yep. And then Earth is spared, and Ort gets to go home to his family, to his daughters, and that's kind of how we wrap up the book, which is, bananas. Absolutely bananas. Thoughts on this acid trip of a book, team?
So, Sarah, you read the book multiple times.
I read chapters of it multiple times. I had to go back and be like, what the fuck?
Because the prose is so long-winded, like it's like a lot of fun, but because it's so long-winded, it's so easy to miss the actual plot points when they happen. You kind of glaze over it, right? You kind of like just eyes. So you have to go back and read. So it's I would say it's like a pretty advanced read, but I really enjoyed this book, the creative spirit of it. I like the themes of acceptance. But then I found by probably about the 50% mark, because half the chapters were these random alien species backstories, I felt it very info dumpy. So I found myself like struggling to get through the book. I felt like it kind of dragged in a way that I didn't want it to. It kind of got in its own way, I felt a little bit.
I think the audiobook helped with that in that it was just like someone telling you a story, and it really fit that very nicely. But I don't remember a lot of the tangents. Like all the stuff that you brought out of the book and told us about, totally gone out of my memory. So like I remember the plot points, but like it was just a ride on the audiobook version. I'd for sure read the next one. It was lovely.
I loved the nihilism.
Go on, Tommy.
I love the world is fucked and we're terrible people and we're just gonna, and the plot is, and we're just gonna sing through it. And in some sense, the format of the book is the world is fucked and it's all going sideways, and I'm just gonna write this anyway. I really liked that aspect of it. Every now and then, the like total whimsical nature of this, and then she just like slaps you with reality. Oh yeah, what about that time we like genocided these people? Are we meat or are we sentient? Yeah, I thought it was a masterpiece. Its own weird little masterpiece, but it was very good.
I found the same thing as Andrew, where like I loved it. Like I think I was messaging the group chat when I first started reading it, kind of like patting myself on the back for choosing it. And then I got to like, chapter 6 and was like, fuck. Just because I kept losing the actual plot. But I am jealous of Catherynne M. Valente's brain, because this was like so glittery and full of whimsical hope. And I like, Tommy, I didn't see the nihilism. Like I saw the like acknowledgement that everything is fucked and we're probably fucked, but I took it as so hopeful. I took it as like, this is the way that this is how we be human. It's like we make art and we dance and we have fun and we like combat fascism with joy and combat fascism with like deep humanity and creativity and love. And that I think we need to hear right now. Obviously, and like whenever a white lady is like, combat fascism with joy, I'm like, also fucking use your privilege and work and like fucking get shit done. Then maybe have a dance party if you're really tired after. But like people who have the complexions of the people who are on this call, like that's not a message for us. That's a message for the people who are in it and doing the work. And we need to be in it and doing the work. But I took it as pretty profoundly hopeful, and that was cool.
I think there's also a theme where like all the problems that you would have with it, intergalactic communication, all the rest of it is just like there's an organism that solves that. Like there's an organism that builds a spaceship. There's an organism that lets us translate infinitely. So it's just like life kind of just keeps on finding a way to make things work. And like that, I think, is kind of a way it combats the nihilism theme, as much as that's there.
I guess maybe nihilism or maybe like existentialism. The idea of like there is no meaning other than the meaning that you create for yourself.
I like that a lot better than nihilism.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're very similar. But yeah, that maybe is what I mean. It's this, the world is absurd, but you get to decide how you react to the absurdity. And she chooses glitter.
Oh, she said that this is the whole thing is a love letter to Bowie and to Prince.
Yeah, okay, that checks out.
And like you feel the homage that she is paying to some of the folks who gender bended and kind of forced kind of the worst of humanity to see their humanity. And I really love this as an homage to Bowie. And as I mentioned, my 4-year-old loves Bowie, so I love Bowie too.
Are you going to teach your 4-year-old the 14th unkillable fact?
What's the 14th unkillable fact, Tommy?
Oh, it's the 2-page long everybody fucks.
I'm not going to teach him that.
Okay. But when it's time for the talk, that's how you should do the talk.
Oh my God.
You're going to come to a point in your life where you may want to have sex with every single atom.
Hit him that and be like, if you have any questions, I don't have any answers.
Oh, we got to give that to some PE teachers. That sounds great.
God.
But I love the message in it that it's like, hey, consent is cool and try to make sure everyone's having a good time.
Yeah, this is a very sex positive book.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very queer book. There's a lot going on here. I really like this book.
Pagenerd is Rick Vieweg, Tommy Guy, Andrew Corway, and me, Sarah Stockdale. Next time, we're reading War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. And now you can support us on Patreon. We absolutely love making this show. So if you want to help us keep making it, you can do that at patreon.com/pagenerd. And if you can't, that's totally fine too. Leaving a rating or review on Apple or Spotify is also a huge help. Thank you and happy reading.
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh. Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.